Baldurs Gate 3 will leave its early access for full release this summer. The developers of famous Divinity Original Sin bringing the third installment of great turn-based RPG to life, and now, after almost 3 years in early access, this August we will have a full released game. Now, I find making this video really interesting, considering I'm not a huge fan of turn-based RPGs, plus to that I never played any Baldur's Gate game before, so this is opinion of a complete noob in this genre and this title in general. Can this game win the award of the best RPG of this year? Hardly in my honest opinion, but it's not excluded and impossible. However, from what I could see so far, when it officially comes out, it can easily be one of the best role-playing games in 2023. Anyway, we will first check all the known info related to this game, then we will summarize my impressions and give final thoughts. Story takes place almost 100 years after the events of Baldur's Gate 2. Now, as I mentioned, I didn't play the previous installments, so I don't know their plot and is there any connections, but from what I heard there will be some sort of connection definitely. There is a post on Reddit that says something about it and it says next. We really don't want to spoil anything, but we wouldn't call it Baldur's Gate 3 if there wouldn't be a link. Let me just say that we touch upon the story of Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 in meaningful ways. There are returning characters, and what happened in Baldur's Gates 1, 2 and TOB leads to what happens in Baldur's Gate 3. You won't necessarily see that at the start of the adventure, but you will quickly understand once you get further into the game. Anyway, in the new story, the main antagonists, Mind Flayers, as squid-faced aliens, found a way to once again travel between the worlds. These aliens, also known as Illithids, rediscovered the secrets of Nautiloids and are using it to leave the Underdark and restore their empire. The cinematics at the beginning are absolutely amazing, full of action, super cool looking, and although I didn't know anything about the game, I enjoyed watching cutscenes. At the very beginning, you find yourself at the alien ship, watching how one of the Mind Flayers putting some kind of parasite into eyes of you and other prisoners on spaceship. Few moments after you received your parasite worm, a battle starts and the spaceship got heavily damaged. Here on the ship you will actually find your first companion, by the way. The purpose of these parasites implemented into prisoners' heads is to actually turn them into Mind Flayers, but for some reason the process isn't working like it normally does. One of the key quests is to find out more information about these parasites and get them removed. Though the party doesn't appear to be transforming into Mind Flayers right away, the parasites still has an effect. You can actually link minds with other people with these parasites and get some other benefits, but the more you use your power, the easier you'll be controlled when you happen across another Mind Flayer. Also, it seems that these Mind Flayers are an ancient and terrifying force in Dungeons & Dragons universe. They have powerful psionic abilities, can mind control other sentient beings, and like to feed on their brains for sustenance. Also, it appears that they have plenty of enemies, considering we could see at the cinematics they are fighting a couple of different races, including demons and Githyanki. The story actually sounds quite interesting, and as a true role-playing game, through narrated conversation in the game, you will constantly learn some new and interesting details. By the way, I really like the narrative voice in the background and explaining the answers you get and actions you do while interacting with something or someone. Character creation segment is so sick. It's so deep, so good, so amazing. I literally spent around 30 minutes just by creating my character, and to be honest, I was in some kind of hurry, so I could spend even more. Anyway, there are 9 playable races in the playable early access, but there are some talking they will add more races when the game comes out. Beside these races, you will be able to choose sub-races for some specific races, as well as spells and cantrips. Dude, if you are new like me, prepare yourself to be lost in character creation menu, definitely. So the 9 playable races are Drow, Dwarf, Elf, Gnome, Githyanki, Half-Elf, Halfling, Human and Tiefling. When it comes to sub-races, Drow have Seldarin and Old Sworn sub-races, Dwarf have Golden Shield Dwarf sub-races, Elf have High Elf and Wood Elf, Gnome have 3 sub-races and those are Deep Gnome, Forest Gnome and Rogue Gnome. Same as Gnome, Half-Elf have 3 sub-races too, High Half-Elf, Wood Half-Elf and Drow Half-Elf. Halfling have Lightfoot and Strongheart sub-races, and Tiefling have Asmodeus Tiefling, Mephistopheles Tiefling and Zerial Tiefling. Githyanki and humans don't have sub-races. Beside races and sub-races, players will be able to choose between 11 different classes in the game. The playable classes are Cleric, Fighter, Ranger, Rogue, Warlock, Wizard, Druid, Sorcerer, Barbarian, Bard and the Paladin. same as with races, choosing a specific class will give you the option to choose subclasses as well. Like I told you guys, character creation is really deep. So when it comes to subclasses, Cleric can choose between Life, Light, Trickery, Knowledge, Nature, Tempest and War domains. Fighter have Battle Master, Eldritch Knight and Champion subclasses. Ranger can be Beastmaster and Hunter, while a Rogue can be Thief, Arcane Trickster and Assassin. Warlock can choose between the Fiend subclass, the Great Old One subclass and the Archfey, while Wizard will be able to choose between Abjuration and Evocation schools. Druid subclasses are the Circle of the Moon and the Circle of the Land, and Sorcerer will be able to choose between Draconic Bloodline and Wild Magic. Barbarian subclasses are Berserker and Wild Heart, Bard have College of Lore and College of Valor, and the Paladin will be able to choose between Oath of Devotion, Oath of Ancients and Oathbreaker. Monk class is not included in early access, but it will be included when the game comes out. Beside classes and races, you will be able to choose your character appearance, and that goes in such details, background story, and as far as I know, all that can actually affect some segment in your gameplay, so choose wisely. There are a couple of character presets from the previous games you'll be able to choose, but they are not available in early access. First of all, when it comes to gameplay, I must say it is goddamn hard, at least it was for me. It's hard but also addictive, and God knows how many times I died and reloaded last save so I can try a different tactic. Anyway, you may find gameplay super easy, or at least a little bit challenging, but in my case, until I get used to all the mechanics in the game and everything, it was quite difficult. Baldurs Gate is a turn-based RPG, which means it's a D&D inspired game whose combat and pretty much everything revolves around dice rolling. Do I like this type of gameplay? No. Can I get used to it? Of course I can, and I'm more than sure that the more time I spend in the game, the more I will like it. The world looks amazing. It's beautiful, the colors, atmosphere, everything in it looks really stunning, and the exploring is pure satisfaction. The animations during combat, look of the spells, I really enjoy in visuals. Considering it's a turn-based game, you and your companions will take turns dealing damage to enemies. However, outside of battle, you and your party are able to walk around freely if you turn off turn-based mode. When I mention companions, it seems they take a great role in this game too. You will be able to find 5 companions in some point of the game: Sterion, Lysel, Gale, Shadowheart and Will. Besides having them as companions, they are part of presets currently locked in early access, and once the game comes out, you'll be able to play the game as one of them as your main character. Beside for the common tests you all have, and that's the Mindflayer situation, every companion have a unique background story and their own personal quests, and everything is perfectly connected, and everything goes so deep that it's mind-blowing. Choices and consequences are one of the most important parts of this game, and there is so many paths through the game that there is almost no chances for players to have same game experience. Plus to that, we will have multiple endings that will depend on our decisions, and the amount of choices and decisions through the game will give us so many different ways to play. That's the thing I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Every time I come to an obstacle and eventually die, next time I will choose different approach to the situation to find out a solution. Eventually, with different approach, something else will change in the game, and that goes on and on. This segment gives the infinite replayability to the game, and for all of you that loves exploring, you'll be able to find an amazing amount of loot, secrets, hidden passages and underground areas. Exploring is brilliantly done, and you will enjoy exploring definitely. As I already mentioned, I am a complete noob in this type of games and in Baldur's Gate universe in general. At first, I found it really hard to get used to everything, but with every minute spent in the game, I get more and more addicted. Plus to that, once you enter the game, time flies so fast that not even some MMOs can provide you with that. Everything related to this game is looking really good: story, graphics and animations, depth of the game itself, decisions, choices and consequences, and even that type of turn-based gameplay. Everything is so good. I will definitely keep playing the game during early access, and will continue when the game comes out. Also, I will try to make videos about it, so you can expect a video about some specific segment really soon, and maybe when I figure out everything, I will do some guide videos too. Like on this one would be super appreciated, so it can reach more people, and don't forget to click that subscribe button, it will be really helpful for this channel and my work in general. Also, feel free to join our Discord server, so we can build a great community and one big gaming family. that would be all, and I'll see you in the next one.